Welcome back everyone to the channel, and today I want to talk about something that's becoming quite controversial up and down the country for thousands and thousands of residents here in the UK, and that is HMOs, houses of multiple occupants. Now, before we start and we talk about why they're controversial now, it might be worth just going over what exactly a HMO is and historically what it was used for compared to what landlords are now using and applying to councils up and down the country to use HMOs for. So a HMO originally would have been where a landlord had a big terraced house. Usually they would split it into 5 or 6 bedrooms and they would rent the bedrooms out, usually to single professional adults who may be working away or they're on the way to renting or buying a house, but because they live on their own, it's simply not worth renting a full house. You would be expected to pay £70–80 a week. For that, you would get one of the rooms in the house, but all your electric, gas and council tax was included on it. Now, from the landlord's point of view, he made more money because he got 6 times that £80, where he probably would have got £400 at the time for the whole house somewhere up here, like in the north, where I know obviously it would have been different prices in London, but it's still the same model. Now, HMOs have become real big news recently, but the mainstream media isn't talking about the impact that it's having on people. Now, here in Wigan, where I'm an independent councillor, it's becoming one of the main topics that I'm being hit with on a daily basis because it's really starting to affect people's lives. And that's because landlords are no longer renting these HMOs to individual people. Instead, they are renting them out to government contractors who are housing, guess what, the illegal immigrants coming over on boats. So not every HMO, but the majority of HMOs. Now, what's in it for a landlord? Well, if you're the landlord, you will get well over the value that you would get renting. And on top of that, you don't have to deal with the house. The government contractor working on behalf of the government will deal with all the problems with that house. So what happens? Well, you get 6 males who've come over on a boat, they've thrown away the passport, nobody knows anything about them, and rather than going to a hotel, which I'm not for hotels, but it was a much better option than this, they now go in to a shared house. So you can imagine some of the problems immediately. You got 6 males, we don't know the background, we know nothing about them, all of a sudden living under the same roof. You get a lot of fighting amongst them. But the big common problem what we're getting is the bin systems we have here in the UK are quite complicated. You have a black bin, a blue bin, a green bin, a brown bin. Well, these people coming over here, a lot of them can't even speak English. They have no idea what to do. So they fill the bins up with everything. The bins then won't get took away by the council who say, it's not our problem, it's the government contractor. So they get left and they build up and build up. And one of my residents at the moment is overrun with rats who lives next door to this HMO. So it's simply not fair on people living here. Now, when I tell you the next problem, and this is another problem that I've got just in my small area of Ashton in Makefield, Bryn, which is in Wigan, is we've got somebody who we've been told by the police has terrorist tendencies. They've been took away for threatening somebody who's lived here all their life over a parking issue and has been took away by the police. And the police have said this person has terrorist tendencies, but they haven't been locked up, they haven't been put in jail, they haven't been deported. They've just simply been put somewhere else. Because the truth is, we have no idea who these people are. Some of them are probably very nice people, I'm sure they are. And I'm sure a lot of them, like this individual, aren't good people. But even the good ones amongst them have no idea how to live in our society. So like I said, you get rats, you get rubbish everywhere, you get the bad characters. And the problem is this is becoming a bigger and bigger business. The more that come over here need housing. But there's one problem, one massive problem with this, which is causing havoc amongst UK citizens trying to get cheap accommodation. So again, in my town, a town of 300,000 people, there's 16,000 people on the council waiting list. Out of them 16,000, 1,000 of them are classed as homeless. That means that they've been given a Section 21, they're going to be kicked out, or that they're actually living on the street. So the council only have about 200 houses circulating at any one time. So the 1,000 can't even be housed, never mind the other 15,000. So the best option was that some of these people could afford the cheapest type of rents, which was terraced houses. But now they can't get them because the landlord isn't going to rent you the house for £600-700 a month when he can get £2,000 and have nothing more to do with the house. And this to me is a crime, what this government and the last government are doing. They're looking at British citizens and saying, we're not going to do anything for you, but we will for people who come over here. Now, I'm not going to blame necessarily the people who come over here because they don't want to be dragged into a divide and conquer. At the end of the day, it's the British government who are giving them everything they need and giving us, the British citizens, absolutely nothing. But the big question is this. If the British government can pay for these people to be put in HMOs, why can't they pay for people on the council housing waiting list to go into HMOs through this private company they use? But they won't, because the truth is, when it comes to us, they simply don't care. Like I said, this is something the mainstream media aren't really talking about. It's a very local level thing. So if you've not got knowledge on how local councils run, you've not been involved in that sector, you probably won't know much about it. But I can guarantee a lot of people watching this would have been affected by it. So let me know what you think about HMOs and the failure by the last government and this government when it comes to housing British people. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.